Suppose that you're given a specification of the initial conditions of the world, and suppose that you are told the laws of nature that govern our world, and you realize they're deterministic, and that you're very, very good at computing how worlds governed by these laws will evolve. And then suppose I ask you, I want you to predict whether I'm going to scratch my head in a few minutes' time. Predict that. And suppose that I'm kind of disposed like this. Whatever prediction you make, I'm just going to do the opposite, right? Because I'm a punkish kind of, contrarian kind of fellow, which is true. And so whatever you do, whatever you say, I'm just going to say the opposite. So if you say, he's not going to scratch his head, I scratch my head. If you say, you are going to scratch your head, then I don't scratch my head. Is it, in any sense, in principle possible for you to predict the future, or predict whether I'm going to scratch my head?
You can't make a declaration, but you can predict whether or not you'll scratch your head. Because, for instance, if I decide I tell you that you will scratch your head, then I have predicted that you will not scratch your head.
So one of the things you could do, absolutely, is you could secretly think to yourself, he's going to scratch his head, right? And then you could say, you won't scratch your head, right? And then it could all come about, and you could be like, yeah. It's not then possible for you to make a correct public prediction, although it is possible for you to make a correct private prediction. But now let's just suppose that I'm rather better than I was in the first story at assessing your mind. Suppose now that it's not that I'll scratch my head if you say I'm not going to scratch my head, and I won't scratch my head if you say that I will scratch my head. What's going to happen now is that I'll scratch my head if you believe. I'm very good at assessing what you believe. And if you believe that I'm going to scratch my head, then I won't. And if you believe that I won't scratch my head, then I will. OK. Now, can you even come to the right beliefs? Whatever belief you have about this matter, it's going to turn out to be wrong. So it doesn't matter how much scratch paper you have, how quickly you compute, how much you know about the initial conditions of the world. So long as the truth is counter-suggestible to your beliefs concerning it. If you believe the one thing, whatever you believe in this domain is going to turn out to be false, because the way the world evolves is sensitive to your beliefs concerning the world. You can't believe correctly concerning the future. This point is often referred to as the point that the universe is in principle unpredictable from the inside. It doesn't follow that something entirely causally isolated from the universe, from the fact that they could make correct predictions about how the universe will evolve, that somebody who's inside the universe can make correct predictions about how the universe will evolve. And of course, if we mean by the universe everything, then there can be nothing outside of the universe. And so the idea that it's in principle possible to predict the future based on knowing that determinism is true, understanding the way the initial conditions are, and understanding the way the world must evolve in virtue of the initial conditions being that way, that idea rather goes out of the window.